Welcome back to the Urban Farmyard. In today's episode I'm showing you how I turned this laundry from a ghastly cupboard into a picture of beauty. You sneezing, Holly? See you soon. Welcome to my laundry. Now, this space is not a full laundry. I would love a full laundry with room for hampers and drying racks and folding space and the ironing board. A full room would be amazing, but this is a really little house, and so what we have here is a laundry cupboard. Cupboard with a laundry in it. This for me is a little piece of luxury. The last two houses I lived in didn't have a washing machine inside the house. I had to go out of the house and into the garage in order to do my washing. So this is a little piece of luxury here at the farm. But it is also the first place that I started to rip apart when I moved in. Literally the day after I moved into this house, I got out my crowbar and I started pulling this particular cupboard apart. It was probably quite functional for the previous owner, but it wasn't super functional for me. So what I did with this space was I started with a list, just as I did in the kitchen. I started with a list of things that I wanted in this space and then figured out a plan to make those work. One of the things was I wanted to be able to stack my washing machine and dryer and close the doors, something which I couldn't do, I discovered when I moved in. Unfortunately, the top loader, which the previous owner had, was a little bit narrower than what my front loading machines are. Front loaders have got a door on the front which gives them about an extra inch of depth versus a top loader, and so unfortunately when I went to put them in this cupboard, the doors wouldn't close, so that was something that needed to be sorted out. I also really wanted a laundry tub. As you know, I've got a lot of animals. That means there's a lot of animal related things that need to be washed, and up until now I have had to wash litter trays in my bath, which is not ideal from a hygiene perspective, from a general back perspective. It's not great for me to be leaning over, and it's just not practical. So I really wanted a laundry tub in here. I also wanted space to store linen because it's really the only part of the house aside from wardrobes where I can put linen, and I also needed some tool storage for things like the vacuum cleaners, the mops and the ironing boards. So those were all on my wish list. Something which is also on my wish list which I haven't been able to incorporate is I really wanted a bench surface so that I had a good practical workspace. That, if it had worked out, would have given me somewhere to put my washing basket. It would also have given me somewhere to fold laundry, but unfortunately, because this is just a cupboard, that was something that I've had to forego. I could either have the bench and not the laundry tub, or in my case I decided basically the laundry tub was far more important. So let's take a look at how I've done it. The first thing I did was got my friend John the Builder to sort out the depth issues so that I could get my washing machine and dryer in. Now, we didn't want to have to take the doors off and build this cupboard out. What I asked him to do was to actually dig into the wall that's just behind us. So that's a non-structural wall. So what we were able to do is manage to cut out the piece of jib, or I think as you call it in the US, the drywall. We managed to cut the piece of jib out and remove one of the cross beams. It was a non-structural cross beam, so we were able to remove that. That then gave us an extra inch of space so that I could push my washing machine and dryer back and close the doors again. So that was the first problem solved. We already had running water in here, which was great, but we did need to do a bit of extra plumbing. Now, fortunately, we had access to really good plumbing in this wall because just behind me, you will find my ensuite, and the shower and bath run off this exact same set of plumbing. So we were able to sort out plumbing for the tub really easily. Now, this tub itself was such a lucky find. I really wanted something that was really pretty rather than something that was purely functional. Now, most of the off-the-shelf tubs here are pretty ordinary, but I stumbled upon this beautiful turquoise tub just by random before I moved up here. Now these tubs are made in New Zealand, and this is not sponsored, just giving you the details. They're made in New Zealand and they come in a wide variety of colours, but they retail for about $1,200 a piece, I think, from memory. I stumbled upon this in a local hardware store though on clearance for only $300. I couldn't believe it. This teal one was a seasonal colour, and we were at the end of the summer season and it was the last display model that was available, and so they had absolutely slashed the price, and so I grabbed it. It's a colour I love, which you'll know from seeing the colour of my oven, and it's a good functional piece which has actually saved me a lot of money. This piece has got great storage in it. It meant that I didn't need to buy a separate cabinet, and all up it's actually cost me a lot less to buy this off the rack than what it would have cost to buy a tub, a cabinet with some drawers in it, a tap and tapware, and get that all plumbed in. Because it was all done, it saved me truckloads of money, and it is super, super pretty. It's also given me amazing storage. It's got really good deep drawers, which makes it super easy to organize all my laundry bits and pieces and all my other cleaning equipment. So super happy with that. The next thing along is my tall storage area. Now this has managed to accommodate almost everything that I wanted to put in there. It fits my ironing board, it fits my mops, and it also fits the stick vacuum cleaner. The one thing that unfortunately doesn't fit, and I have yet to find a suitable home for it, is my proper vacuum cleaner. This space is just not quite wide enough, and unfortunately there's nowhere else that I can really cut out because we're getting into a structural wall on that side. I can't cut back to create more space. So unfortunately my vacuum cleaner is just kind of living wherever I leave it right now, which is not ideal, so I do need to sort that out. But it ultimately has given me really good tall storage. Next up is my linen storage. So what we did is we just lowered an existing shelf that was in this cupboard. This was part of the built-in that the previous owner had done, and all I did was lower the shelf by about 2 inches, basically so that it sits directly on top of the dryer, and that's given me a precious extra 2 inches of storage space for towels, for bedding, and for other items of linen. So that's worked really well. That shelf does need to be painted white at some stage. To be honest, I couldn't be bothered doing it. This is what you'll find on my channel. You're not going to see perfect before and afters. Not everything's finished off. I do things when I have the patience, the time, and the inspiration to get them done. So we will go and paint that some other time. The other piece which I absolutely love in this cabinet was completely non-essential, but it makes me happy when I open the doors, and that is my gorgeous splashback. So when I was doing the kitchen, I made sure that I bought some extra subway tiles because I knew that this little space would do well if it was tiled. So again, we have a lovely splashback in here with my white satin subway tiles. The one thing we haven't yet done in here is grouted them. Again, it's non-essential. It'll get done at some point. Might get done while we're on self-quarantine. I don't really know. We will see. The other thing we did in here is just juggle some PowerPoints around. I found that in a laundry, PowerPoints are really important. You've got to plug in things like your washing machine and dryer. So we've got PowerPoints that we moved, so they sit directly behind the washing machine and dryer in here. What I also have in this cabinet is my broadband modem. There's a Wi-Fi extender, there's a few bits and pieces, sort of technical things, which also plug in here. They all sit in behind the laundry, or behind, sorry, not the laundry, they all sit in behind the linen. So we have PowerPoints for those. The other thing I have is a set of PowerPoints on the other side where we have things like the vacuum cleaner. That enables me to keep my stick vacuum plugged in at all times, and I've also got a robot mop which I keep plugged in here. So that's this space. This was all done really cost effectively. I already had the washing machine and dryer from my previous house, so all it's really cost me was $300 for the tub, maybe $20 for the subway tiles, and a few hours of my friend John's time to pull it all together for me and get everything plugged in and working. So honestly, well under $500. I haven't bothered with styling and pretty things like that, aside from my little wash canister for my washing powder. That's not really styling from my perspective, that's something practical which makes my life easier. So that's it, the gorgeous laundry. Enjoyed today. I hope this has given you some inspiration for your laundry area, whether it be a full laundry room or, like me, just a little cupboard, and I hope you are having a great day. I will see you back here tomorrow.